like that last I Heart promotion the way it was delivered. It should have been Weezer. He just said Weezer. Weezer, I Heart Radio.
You can't say it normal.
Yeah. Or does Weezer just doesn't have that? It almost seems like you have to have, like, Metallica, Joe Bonamassa. You have to have that at the very end. So if you're Weezer, it's harder to do it in that real Weezer. You see what I'm saying? It doesn't have quite the same effect. You could do it that way, and I would prefer it, I think. But, or maybe
so you're saying they should change the name to Weezer.
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 Weezer. Or maybe they're listening to me, and it's getting back to the voiceover talent that does the concerts and say, you know what, he's right. We always make it seem like it's Joe Bonamassa, it's Toto, and just say it normal. Just say, hey, it's Weezer. They're coming to concert. Should be great. Hope to see you there. So maybe that's what they've done. Maybe they've taken them. Maybe they're listening to us too, just like Bill Guerin when he thanked Tennessee and I for the support that we have given the club. Did you watch PGA Championship, 108th playing of the PGA Championship at Aronimink?
I watched the final round.
What'd you think of it? It was fun.
Well, it was weird because the leaderboard was so packed, yet for a lot of the round there wasn't a lot of movement. Right? Like it was still kind of the same names at the same numbers. There wasn't really a birdie fest going on. So it's not like, oh, this guy just jumped up to 600. This guy just dropped, right? There wasn't a lot of roller coaster to it other than just players kept falling. And then I guess that's what made the last 10 holes for Aaron Rai so surprising because up until that point, I went into it going, oh, we're going to get into a playoff here. Like Justin Thomas is going to backdoor his way into a playoff here because no one wanted to. I didn't see anyone jumping up to 9 under at any point during the day. And then, Rai, a couple eagles to do that for you.
Well, Baby Brother Peter said, do you think, I said Thomas that's not going to be good enough. He said, what do you think the winning score will be? I'm not making this up. I said, I think 8.
Yeah, I would have said 7.
Because I think somebody was going to, there's always somebody that just, it seems like in every tournament, there's one guy that makes a couple of extra shots. He's dialed in more than the others.
Well, and there's so many that had the chance to do it too, right?
And that's Aaron Rai. And he was dialed in and he did. You're right. They had so many people and you knew somebody would. Esteemed columnist, Patrick Royce and I text and talk more than most people know. And he had sent me a text and expressing his, I don't want to say dismay, but maybe annoyance that he says they turn these modern courses into asphalt tracks to keep scores higher and defend members' egos, which I think does have a lot to do with it. He says if a shot lands 12 feet from the flag, will spin off and roll rapidly off the green. And I told him I tend to agree, but here's the issue and here's the problem with professional golf nowadays on the PGA level. Because these players are so good, because the equipment is so good, if you don't do something to protect the golf courses, I would rather see 4, 5, 6 under like U.S. Opens. I'd rather see that win. And I know just par after par after par can be boring, but I don't want to see live golf either and have 26 under win. To me, to watch guys just pepper greens, soft, receptive, tend to be when greens are soft and receptive, I can hit it close a handful of times. So those guys are going to do it over and over. I don't want to see that. I don't want to see birdie barrage. I like yesterday where to make it, he shot a 65. That was 5 under, and that was a remarkable score because how you make your pars too can be like that course was playing so difficult because of the green complexes that pars were really good scores, and to see how they had to do it, hitting it out of tough rough, and I got to bounce this just in front of the green and hit the fringe, and I got to hit the, I got to pitch it onto the green and have it hit the shelf a little bit and pop up and roll down. The creativity of the players really comes into play when the golf course is playing difficult like it was. I understand that you'll see a guy, and you see the players react a lot of times too. They'll hit what they think is a perfect golf shot, and it does. It would miss their mark by what, 2, 3, 4, 5 feet, and the thing just caroms off the green and rolls down into the rough. And I can see where the frustration is as a player. I don't like to talk about myself or use myself as an example, but it happened to me on the 15th hole at Loggers today. I hit a perfect shot, which I thought was perfect. You know, they have that, it used to be a sand bunker. I bet it's 30, 40 yards long, and now it's just a grass bunker. And then just before you get to the green, it's a 3-tiered green, left, middle, and right. And you have to clear this little grass hollow in order to bounce it on the green. I was a foot from clearing that grass hollow, and it hit the side of the mountain set and kicked viciously left. It was on the green, and I two-putted from 65 feet for par. But that was where I had hit it exactly how I wanted to hit it, but I was I was a yard or yard and a half, 2 yards short of clearing what I needed to cozy it up to the green. And that's what was happening to these guys at Aronimink as they hit shots. And because the course is so demanding and so penal, that'll be what happens. But I enjoyed it a lot. The one thing that, and Nance,
do you think maybe part of Royce is, I think, and I might even be in this batch of casual golf fans, right? Mm-hmm. That we want to, on final Sundays, we want to see spectacular shots, roars in the crowd. Yeah. And this is one of those, it almost played out like a U.S. Open yesterday.
Yes, it did. Yes,
to your point, like you're just trying to make pars.
Yeah, that's probably it. But it's like, here's what I'll tell you. I'll use my basketball analogy. The first time I ever saw somebody slam dunk a basketball, I went, whoa! The second time I went, huh. And then the third time I saw somebody do it, I went, it's not that impressive. So just to watch the best players in the world with a 9-iron or an 8-iron or a wedge in their hand with a soft green, hit it into 3 feet. Okay, I've seen that now over and over and over again today. Then my mind immediately goes, well, this course can't be playing that difficult for these guys. They're just throwing darts now. It's just become too simple. And so maybe there's a halfway point.
Yeah.
Where it's maybe not quite as hard. And I think they tried to do that because if you remember, Thursday and Friday, the players were there. There was a moaning going on about, well, this is just ridiculous. This is too hard. And then they tried to soften it up. And we saw early in round 3 where guys were starting to score, but then it kind of went back the other way. So I don't know what their objective was. I enjoyed it. The one thing about Nance, Aaron Rye won it. Everybody, I think, knows Aaron Rye's story. He's come from humble beginnings, right? They have family, didn't have a lot of money. He's the one that has iron covers on his
he ain't got a lot of money.
Yeah, he's got iron covers on his irons. And they asked him why, because there's only 2 people in the world that do that, me and Aaron Rye. And did I tell you another reason why I like to do it? Because when I'm playing by myself and walking early in the morning, like I'm walking the wick, if you don't have your irons covered, they clank together, and I don't I want the total silence. I just want to hear the birds and the wind whispering through the leaves. But anyway, he did it because in respect to his father, because his father worked overtime and saved the money and basically said, we're going to buy these irons, you got to take care of them. And so he's kind of done that. But they kept on talking about, basically what Nance was trying to say was because he's so humble and quiet, that's why he was playing so well, and that's why he won. It's like, there have been guys that are whose egos are extremely large. The only thing larger is their prostate, that have won championships as well. I really don't think because he's...
all types of personalities.
Yeah, I just don't think it was because he's humble.
You're John Daly's.
Yes, exactly. I don't think it was because he's humble and because he's so quiet and introspective and polite. I don't think that... Now, he's liked on tour because of those qualities, but I don't think those qualities are what led him to win the championship, because he didn't win some others with those qualities, right? I think he just tried too hard. He just played really well. He's a great player. And he put it all together, and he hit. And again, he did remember when Sponzi last year won the U.S. Open, when he bombed in that 63-foot putt? It looked like Rye was on his way to win, but was it was it 16 or was it 7 or was it the final hole? Where did he hit the long birdie putt of
was that for eagle on 16?
Yeah, that was 16. That's right. Yeah. It was 16 where he bombed in the really long putt, and that was game set match.
He was off himself after. He was shocked. I think I went in.
Yeah. And what I told maybe Brother Peter, what I liked too, I liked his reaction. See, I do like that about him. He is very mild mannered. He kind of, like you say, he looked like he was surprised, and he just did a little mini fist pump almost to himself, just went, instead of the raising his fist and running around the green and jump, which is okay if you do that too, but I just like how he was calm, cool, and collected. But it was fun to watch. And now next is the U.S. Open that will be at Shinnecock. The PGA was at Aramanik. And on Wednesday, with Brian Oak during Rock Talk, we'll have Rock Rank. You know what? And don't tell me. I don't want to know, because I like to be surprised. What's the topic for Rock Rank?
I don't even know yet. I have a list, but
I'm so excited. We will take a break. We'll come back and talk more. Tenneby's got a keyword for us brought to you by my pals at BigDeck.com.
The Fan and BigDeck.com want to give a shot to win bonus bucks with our national cash contest. Enter the keyword WIN at KFAN.com now for a shot of winning. The keyword is WIN. Enter now at KFAN.com.
The Common Man.
Who cares about Common?
First series in NBA history tend to be Pistons versus Cavaliers, where both teams are coming off 30-plus point wins. I wonder if we had to look up that statistic and what made them look it up. I guess just curiosity, right? You know what? It's sort of like taking a look at Ricky Rubio's eyes compared to Kirk Cousins. You just go, their eyes are very similar. And then you match them up and you went, both teams, you know what? Hey, I noticed this. Both teams just won by 30-plus points. I wonder how many times that's happened in the NBA, where the two teams that closed out a series with 30-plus points then met in game one of the next series, and lo and behold, it's the first time it's ever happened. It's never happened before in the history of the game. I saw where, oh, by the way, I guess I'm not surprised the Pistons lost. I think they were the number one seed, yet, if you'll remember, Orlando had a 3-0 lead before Detroit. I don't know, they must have drawn a line in the hardwood and said enough's enough, and they won 4 in a row. But when you fall behind 3-0, there's got to be something missing. Now, tip your cap to them for coming back from a 3-0 deficit, but you have to kind of think, And we saw that last night. They got just absolutely destroyed by the Cavaliers, so Cavs advance.
As someone who's only watched Detroit play once this year, so I'm about to have not a very, very forthright, educated opinion.
Right.
My guess is Detroit is one of those teams that's not the most talented team in the world, but they got by because they took the regular season seriously.
Yes,
and they played defense, and they rebounded, and they worked hard. And once you get to the playoffs, then you go against other teams that play defense and rebound and work hard.
And so do you think the Wolves will go see our way was better? We didn't get all tuckered out, and it doesn't matter. Maybe they'll use that. I saw it tend to be that the NFL is getting ready to award the Super Bowl site for 2030. I think 2027, 2028, 2029 are all locked up, in that they are considering Nashville, Tennessee as the site for the Super Bowl in 2030. They're building a new stadium.
What up, Tennessee?
I think they're building a new stadium in Tennessee, if I'm not mistaken. Do we know, is that going to be a covered stadium or will it be an open air? Because that would make a difference for how the game would transpire, possibly, because and then there's also just, do you remember when we had the big game here? Well, we thought we were going to host it. The slogan became "Bring it home," and then the slogan became "Watch from home." Unfortunately, Thank you. Waiting for that. Delayed reaction. Wah. Because
according to the AI response, it does look like it'll be enclosed.
Okay. And it was enclosed here, of course, as well. Had to be, because you're playing in the first week in February, and it can be 0 degrees, which I think it was. I think it was fairly cold in 2017, 2018 when we held the big game here. But you wonder, I guess fans of the hometown teams want to come, but the idea you think of, getting to the big game, like we've talked about it, Tennessee, what if we get to the big game and we go to Phoenix and play some golf, or we go to, California or Florida, going to Nashville? And then I looked it up. It says, during the first week of February, Nashville typically experiences cool and unpredictable weather with highs in the upper 40s to lower 50s and lows hovering near or just below freezing. Because temperatures fluctuate wildly, you should pack for all 4 seasons, as they can be 70 degrees or feature snow and ice. So while if it's an enclosed stadium, they won't have to worry about playing conditions, but just as fans, part of to me, the charm of going to the big game is getting a little sun and fun too.
Sure.
And it's like, I don't want Nashville, but we'll see how that goes. My guess is they like Nashville. They've hosted other events there for the NFL. They've done well. By the way, Tennessee, that long putt was on 17 for birdie. That's what it was. It was a long putt on 17.
But he eagled 16 though,
yes,
correct? Yeah.
Yes, I think that's exactly right. Here's this says address the issue of NBA basketball. What does that mean? What?
It's an open-ended question.
It is an open-ended question. This one says Nashville is one of the best live music scenes in the country, though I'm aware of that, and that is one of the reasons I guess it would be a bonus for having it there. I just think that in February, especially if your team is from a cold weather climate, you kind of like the idea of, hey, we get to play a game outdoors where it's nice and sunny, and I get to enjoy a little bit of weather, but we'll see how that goes.
We have the big game here.
I know, I just talked about that. Yeah, and I said it was like 0 degrees, I think, the day of the game. So we did, and I just wonder how fans of Philadelphia and New England felt about it. Because like I say, if you had your choice, if your team gets to the big game and you said, hey, would you rather travel to Tampa Bay for the game, or would you rather go to Minneapolis for the game, or Detroit? You would say, it's kind of open to play a little golf while I was there, or some kind of outdoor activity. Yeah, you do have the games here. They've had cold weather climate. Didn't they one time have an outdoor game in a cold weather climate? Did they do that in New York?
I think so. They did in New York, yeah.
I think they did it at New York, and if I remember, I don't think it wasn't ice bowl-like conditions, but it was, I think it was certainly cold. Now I am curious, has there ever, which I know it has, ever been cold climate Super Bowl? Let's see what they say. Oh, this is so much fun. Yes, several cold weather climates, with the coldest outdoor game being Super Bowl VI in 1972. New Orleans played outdoors at Tulane Stadium. It remains the coldest Super Bowl on record. Kickoff temperature was 39 degrees. So, and that was in a place where you would expect warm weather. So I guess it is very unpredictable. It was in 2014 Super Bowl XLVIII, East Rutherford, New Jersey. Played outdoors at MetLife, third coldest on record, kickoff temp 49. Although a massive winter storm dumped inches of snow the next day, the game itself was mostly spared from heavy participation. And then, as they say, the NFL has hosted Super Bowls in cold northern cities, but they've always been played in climate-controlled stadiums. U.S. Bank Stadium, 2018, where the outdoor temps dropped to 2 degrees above zero.
Yeah.
Lucas Oil in Indianapolis in 2012, and then in Pontiac, Michigan, they played 1982. They played the big game at the Silverdome there. So, yeah, I don't know, but I think Nashville they'll probably get the nod for that game. I'm more worried. Where are we playing it this year? We're in Vegas, right? Las Vegas. I think this year they're playing the game in Las Vegas. The chances of the Vikings playing in that game, I don't know what the odds makers have, but when you look when you start, and the power rankings obviously are ridiculous at this time of year, but when you do look at all 32 teams, from just going on last year's results, the draft, free agency, and that, it's going to be I think it's going to be a bit of a challenge for the Purple to get to the big game. I think it basically comes down to, just like pretty much with any team, Tenneby, it comes back to quarterback play. I feel a little bit better about our quarterback.
We're at SoFi next year.
What's that?
L.A.
L.A. I feel
Inglewood, always up to no good.
I feel like I like the quarterback situation a little bit better this year than I do last year. I will say that. So, and again, a lot of it just depends on Kyle Murray. No, Rosen's got me confused now. It's Kyler Murray. And I think a lot is going to depend on just how he plays. But that's for another time. Let's take our final break of the program. I got some more controversial Vikings news and a couple of other topics, Tenneby, that I think you might find interesting. We'll do that on the other side of the break. Big Ticket JG, they're up at 3 o'clock here in the Fan. Megadeth, Metallica, and Weezer. Couple 13-14 past. I'm Common. He is Tenneby. Question for you, Tenneby. Would you trade Anthony Edwards for Victor Wembanyama?
In a heartbeat. Who else see me to throw in on that?
Would you trade Quinn Hughes for Connor McDavid? Is overrated. Would you trade it? If they called and said, we want Quinn Hughes, we'll give you Connor McDavid, would you make that trade?
Yes.
Oh, you would? Okay.
Though I love me some Quinn Hughes.
Yeah, I think we all do. Well, we call it Quinnesota. We call it Quinnehaha Falls, Quinnetrista, the Quinn Cities. We all love him here.
But it'd be hard to pass up on Connor McDavid.
Yeah.
By the way, before you move on here, we do have some...
Ooh. That tea time I requested has come through? Is that it?
No.
Oh.
What are you doing August 19th, August 20th?
August 19th, August 20th. I plan to be at Giants Ridge, I think. Why? What's going on?
Yeah. We need you over at TCO, Twin Cities Orthopedics.
Why?
For the joint practices between the Vikings and the Baltimore Ravens. Vikings are hosting Baltimore.
Oh, what a bad break for me.
Ahead of the preseason game, which is Saturday.
What a bad break for me.
Last year you missed. I had to have Rosen with me, and we're talking about J.J. McCarthy's passes spinning through the air.
Yeah. Speaking of McCarthy, Justin Jefferson, he spoke with Good Morning Football not long. I don't know if I think this was his last couple of days. And during that interview, Justin Jefferson talked about being ready for the competition to see which quarterback will be the, quote, last man standing. Here's what he said. Just to see who's going to be the last man standing. Who's going to be that dog? Who's going to be the leader to carry us throughout the season? Because that is definitely a missing piece that we're looking for and something that's very important to our team, which is the quarterback spot. Well, if it's the piece you're looking for, that piece was here last year and it didn't go very well, right? I mean, I think it's Murray's position to win or lose. He goes, that's definitely, I want that for sure. It's definitely difficult for those types of things to happen about being franchise quarterback, right? But just like me being with Kirk Cousins for those first 4 years of my career, just building on that connection, building on that relationship, that's something that is unbroken. That's something you just don't find anywhere. It will definitely be, it definitely will be great to have a quarterback, the same quarterback for the next couple of years going down the line, but you already know that's something difficult to do in this league. But for sure, to keep knowing that quarterback for these next couple of years and build that relationship and create that spark, that's definitely the plan. Because, and, you know, I do believe there is something, unless you have the elite quarterbacks that can come in and say, you and me will have a connection immediately, watch this, right? Like a Mahomes. I think Mahomes could pretty much go to any team, maybe even a Josh Allen. That's a handful of guys we talk about all the time that could probably go to any team, and within, you know, one OTA session or mini camp, they could have it wouldn't be hard for them to build a pretty good relationship with the Justin Jefferson, right? But Jefferson's he was Cousins for 4 years, right? And then what happened?
And Darnold.
And then it was Darnold. And that only lasted a year, right? And then, was it last year?
Last year, yes.
It started with 9, and then it ended up going to injured guy. Wentz.
And then 9, and then Brosmer, and then 9, and then
Brosmer. So it is difficult, especially, I think, quarterbacks that are a little bit more talent challenged, right? I mean, we know McCarthy's got there's some talent there, right? We saw it we didn't see it often. We didn't see it for very long periods of time. And, Brosmer, I don't know. I like Max, but I don't know if he's that guy. And then Wentz had, he had that short stretch for Philadelphia where he was really good, right? He had him on the way to the big game, got hurt, Foles won. And did Wentz ever play up to that level again?
No.
He never did he?
He got a couple chances to start elsewhere. I know he started in Indianapolis.
And then he just...
But no. He was MVP candidate up until
correct.
That point.
And so now, it's... Look, there have been plenty of players, not just quarterbacks, but players really in football, all sports, right? That you get off to a slower start in your career. It might take you a year or two, a season or two, maybe even more to really get things figured out, start to play to the level that the team felt you were capable of when they drafted you. Let's face it, we've seen it happen here. They drafted Ponder at number 11. When you draft, was 11 or 12 was Ponder, right? When you draft somebody that high in the draft, that says you think this guy's a chance to be really good. And Ponder, I don't remember now. It's been so long, Tenneby, but my guess is he had a few moments where he played
He was
well.
great at handing the ball off.
Well, he was good at that. I'm sure he had moments where...
Got him to the playoffs.
Yeah, he could spin it a little bit.
Didn't play in the playoffs, but he got him there.
He could spin it, but... to do that week after week, season after season is difficult to do. So, I think not only do fans have their doubts about 9, but obviously the franchise does too, because if they didn't, they wouldn't have signed Kyler Murray to a contract. Now, they also got him on the cheap too. It could end up being as one of those things, where you do report cards on the draft even before you conduct the draft, and already the stories are, let's grade each team's draft. Well, you don't know, because you don't know if the players will pan out. You don't know if the wide receiver team XYZ drafted is the next Randy Moss or the next Troy Williamson, right? Nobody knows for certain. There are some can't miss guys out there, I guess, but for the most part, you don't know who it's going to be, but
and on the chemistry side of things, my guess is, or my thoughts are that it's kind of a one-sided chemistry thing. I think the quarterback needs to know more about the receiver than the receiver needs to know about the quarterback. The quarterback needs to know from a timing standpoint, how does a wide receiver like to get out of breaks, that kind of things. Whereas I don't really know how much you need to know about the quarterback to feel chemistry with them if you're a receiver.
Yeah, I think you might be right there. Yeah, that makes sense.
Like you run your route and the ball's thrown to a certain spot and you can't catch it.
Right. Here's a question. Would you trade Kaprizov for Jack Hughes? Would you?
It's a good question.
Really? Because I thought you would do it not in a million years thing.
Jack Hughes is younger.
Okay.
And I'm guessing his contract's going to be a lot more favorable. Jack Hughes is very skilled. And because he's in the East, because he's in New Jersey, I'm not watching him as much as I would be in the Western Conference. I also don't know. Clearly he was able to hold up in an Olympic gold medal game. But in terms of the playoff grind, he's a little bit, he's kind of like Quinn's size, right? Quinn can get away with it because he's such an elite skater and he doesn't put himself in spots to get hit. But forward's a little different. Forward's, some of the battling you got to do down low in the corners, that kind of stuff. I'd be curious to know how he would hold up in playoff hockey, I guess is my question. But based off of age and the fact that, let's be honest, like Kirill Kaprizov, as good as I think he is, we're going to look back and say he got overpaid. And that's going to be a knock against your salary cap here when you're trying to go get other guys.
Would you trade Quinn Hughes for Victor Wembanyama? One of the text messengers wants to know.
I like wild hockey more than the Timberwolves. So unless can Victor Wembanyama play goalie?
He's tall.
You can put him at defense. You're not getting around Victor Wembanyama at the blue line.
He would be better as a soccer goalie, I think, because the net is much higher. Didn't he play soccer?
Yeah, according to Rosen. Rosen did all that research on him.
Yeah, of course he did.
Yeah.
The guy who said he wouldn't trade. The day I asked him, he was just like, because I don't think he'd ever seen he couldn't pronounce Victor Wembanyama's name. We know that. Or he had 2 or 3 pronunciations. Second of all, he'd never seen him play. And because it's Anthony Edwards, who is really talented, he's one of us, and Charlie gets some courtside seats, he had to say, well, not in a million years.
Yeah.
And then now he's
watched him a little bit.
He's watched him, and he realizes, no, you would make that trade in an instant. I think most people would anyways.
My son Samson calls him Wild Banana instead of Wembanyama.
I like Wild Banana. It's like when Deuce used to call the basement the Beta, in the newspaper the Numma. And he called coffee Mutaufi because he couldn't talk yet. He still can't talk very well. If you've listened
Now what do you think? What do you think of that?
Would have been nice to build on Darnold's first year in the system after 14 wins. Well, yeah, we could go down that road again. I'd beat that into the ground. Yeah, it would have been nice. They won the big game last year, Seattle and Darnold, didn't they?
They did, yes.
They did? Yeah. Well, then you know what Deuce did last?
Amazing. First year there, they apparently had really good connection with Jackson Smith and Jigba.
He must have had a really good connection. They had great chemistry. Yeah.
I think that's just Jefferson just trying to excuse Nine's performance. Like, he can't just come on and say, well, he's awful.
Right, yeah.
Well, it takes a while to get some chemistry going.
Yeah, I think you're right. Well, then, so we watched the golf yesterday, and when it ended, Deuce clicked it over to the NFL Network. It's a replay of a Rams-Seattle game from last year. Must have been the last game of the season. Was it the last game or second to last game, or was it a playoff game? I don't even remember now. But is anybody watching that? A replay of a game that you already know. I mean, and again, I understand watching the replay of a game. You know the outcome. If it's like you were working and you wanted to watch Vikings-Packers, and so you DVR'd it or recorded it, however you say it nowadays, and you knew the outcome, but it's fresh. It just happened that day or the day before. But will you go back and watch a game that's 6 months old? I told Deuce, I said, we can't do this. And so then we watched replays of regular show instead. But, yeah, that's what they had on the NFL Network last night. They had a replay of...
what else are they supposed to put on?
I don't know.
They got to fill some content out there.
Well, go back and do something like the Ice Bowl.
They do that occasionally, too.
Do they? Because I just don't need a game. I mean, I know they a lot of those...
I've always wondered if we had, I know it's not often we have epic games here locally, but if we had, epic games, we could just randomly replay them on the fan, like the radio calls.
Can we do that right now? Because I really got nothing. I mean, I'm back to talking about Vikings football.
Just play the final 10 minutes of across-the-body throw.
Or we could just re-rack the Bill Guerin. If we re-rack the Bill Guerin thing, he would start thanking everybody, and then he would...
We'd have to go to the end of the show at that point.
And he still wouldn't have everybody thanked.
It was 6 minutes of thanks. I was watching the clock.
Yeah. Well, and here's what I'll tell you. He said, first of all, I want to thank the fans. We could feel it, hear it, blah, blah, blah. And, I've been everywhere, town to town, up and down the dial, played everywhere. You're the best fans ever.
Please buy more tickets.
Do you think deep down he really believes they're the best fans ever? And I'm not saying he was lying, but it's sort of like...
I mean, he's played for a lot of teams and been a GM, been in a couple different front offices.
But do you think, let's say he moves on from here, because he'll eventually get fired, right? They all do.
Sure.
He'll get fired. Let's say he gets a job with Vancouver. Do you think he'll say, best fans in hockey, well, second best are here in Vancouver. The best are where I just was in Minneapolis or in St. Paul. They were so good there. Those are the best fans ever. And I'm sorry, Vancouver, but you'll have to prove it to me to beat them. I don't think he's going to say that. So, but you're right. Buy tickets. Please buy them. Plenty of them.
It's not often they say our fans stink.
Right. You don't hear, right. Well, you don't hear anybody actually say that. I got another one here. I remember way too much, but JJ has shown much more in his first year than Ponder in his whole time here. Unfortunately, that might not be saying much. Ponder's first pass as a starter was also his peak. Was a sweet pass, though, 72 yards to Jenkins against the Packers. How does he does remember too much. He remembers the very first throw that Ponder made. How excited do you think... It
was a where were you moment.
How excited do you think PA was?
PA actually might memorize him. I was listening to him and Bursich and Lieber do the schedule reveal show.
Right.
Like a team would pop up like Carolina, and he's sitting there, yeah, the last time we played at Carolina, we went to overtime. Love it. Like he remembers all those games. Like, I don't remember the last time we played at Carolina.
I can remember every shot I hit in the round I shot 68 at Loggers Trail about 15 years ago. You want me to...
When it comes to golf, you have the greatest memory ever, and then anything outside of golf, it's awful.
Yeah, you're right. There's no question.
Doesn't make a lot of sense.
No, it really doesn't. For those of
they
you
should study your brain when you pass away.
I'll donate it to either to science or a registered charity. For those that didn't hear the season-ending news conference between Bill Guerin and John Hines, there wasn't a lot to sift through other than, as we mentioned, Tenneby, he did say that Gustafson he has to undergo surgery. He has did they say what the surgery? Yeah, because didn't Russo then say labrum, and then I think Guerin came back and said, "Do you want the X-rays?" I mean,
I always love that.
I like that. I think Russo kind of tells it like it, and that's what I did like about what Guerin said. He said something, my friend, that's hard to believe. But I want to thank the media, and he what I liked is he said, I'm paraphrasing what he said. He goes, "But you call it like it is, and if truth hurts, right? If we've played bad or done something wrong, that's what the media has to do. They can't try to protect any feelings or kind of varnish anything or what's the word I'm looking for? Sugarcoat what happened out there." But so they said that Gustafson has to and then when asked, will he be ready for the regular season, he says, "I don't know." So there's that. And was there anything else? I thought you thought there was a couple of other things that were noteworthy.
Well, I'd mentioned the Gus injury. Apparently Tarasenko was playing hurt as well. But other than those two and Brodin and Eriksson Ek, they didn't reveal any injury. So, it'd be nice to have another full offseason of Kirill Kaprizov healthy. There's been many times where he's been dealing with a surgery or issue, or you can't train the same in the offseason. So
they want us to re-rack the Ponder throw. Do we have it anywhere? We have to search for it, but that should be archived. Comment, seems like you're running out of steam. Maybe you should wrap up the show telling the story about the time you were faking the horn honking on Big Ticket Show. That's one of my favorites. We could. It was one Big Ticket and Hartman. I still don't know why we were in front of KARE 11 broadcasting live, but we were. And then a couple people honked their horns, and then Sammy Sigelman, the producer at the time, I told him, he said, "I've got some horns here." So then he just kept hitting him throughout the show for like about an hour. Beep, 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 beep. And Hartman and Burrow finally caught on when there were no cars going by and horns were honking.
I
they
always
finally realized. That one. I think at first they thought everybody in the Twin Cities is listening. Because it was just a barrage. It was like rush hour traffic. People honking their horns. So it was a good bit. I could have done Oh, go ahead.
I was going to say, we could re-rack one highlight. Remember when you and I went to a Vikings training camp in Mankato?
Oh.
And they had practice going on, and here was the handoff to Adrian Peterson.
He did have some slippery
I
fingers.
always love that one.
Well, if you're looking to waste some minutes, you could always spin the wheel of topic again. Yeah, I guess you could. That's my favorite. There are so many favorite stories of the fan from yesteryear, but my favorite still is they sent us down to let us go to Mankato. We went and played golf at the Mankato Country Club, did our normal show. We thought it was great. We come back and they go, what were you guys thinking? What do you mean, what were you thinking? And then they said, well, where were the interviews? I said, well, they didn't provide anybody to us. Well, couldn't Tenneby have gone down there with us?
They weren't practicing while we were there.
Right.
Noon to 3, they didn't practice.
And they were wondering why you didn't take like a tape recorder, go around and I said, well, if he did that, he couldn't join me playing golf. That's the reason we agreed to go down there.
That's the only reason we went down there.
Yeah. We golf at the Mankato Country Club, and in exchange, we'll go down and we'll do 3 hours.
And if you want us to do something that's not like our normal show, you should tell us that ahead of time.
Because they didn't tell us. They were so annoyed with us. It's like, well.
That was the most I've been annoyed working here, to be honest with you.
Yeah. Yeah. Because they were just beside themselves. Like we
thought we did a great show.
Yeah.
It was funny. We had the Peterson bit.
Well,
we were telling Bryant McKinney jokes. We had the NFL Network next to us.
They were mad at us. Shh. Because they're trying to do serious talk, and we're just doing nonsensical stuff over and over again. They were annoyed.
I think we got like one Viking specialist, like a Cluey or a Longwell or something.
Yeah. That's exactly right. I think we did we got a place kicker or a holder
during their lunchtime.
During the lunchtime, the only time. That's where